Hi everyone. I think it's fair to say that Prime Minister Theresa May has had better weeks. It started a week last Friday, so about 10 days ago, with her putting forward this white paper strategy to her MPs and her cabinet at Chequers last week. One of the stipulations at that Chequers meeting was that if anybody were to resign on that Friday while at Chequers, because it would obviously cause them embarrassment, they said that they would lose access immediately to their parliamentary cars, which meant that they would have to walk the mile or whatever it is down the driveway, because obviously Chequers is on a large estate. Walk a mile to the end of the drive to get an Uber, which is why, in part, you would probably find David Davis and Boris Johnson resigned on the Monday, and Jeremy Corbyn make that pun in Houses of Parliament and in Prime Minister's questions.
To be fair, and I want to be fair to the former Brexit Secretary and the former Foreign Secretary, I think they would have resigned on the spot on Friday. But they were faced with a very long walk, no phone, and due to government cuts, no bus service either.
It's culminated today in a backlash from the Sunday newspapers, which is quite damning, really. This is the Sunday Express, who actually for once didn't go with a headline about Princess Diana, which is very unusual for them. They've gone with betrayal of Brexit. Rees-Mogg says Prime Minister has broken trust in public, and Boris Johnson is preparing a bombshell speech over resignation. Here's the Sunday Tory graph. Even they've put, ex-minister, I quit over secret plan to foil Brexit. And you got the Observer, Mandelson joins Brexiteers with attack on May's EU humiliation. The Sunday Times down there at the bottom, David Davis brands PM dishonest over her Brexit alternative. It didn't stop just with the Brexit, with her having a bad week. This is married Tory Minister Andrew Griffiths, who quit over 2,000 sex tests to 2 barmaids. Obviously he's married. And then probably the worst one I've seen is the Mail, although they aren't slandering her, because obviously it's the Mail, they wouldn't. But May, back me or there'll be no Brexit. Prime Minister start warning to rebels as she pledges, I will not let Brussels water down my deal. It's impossible for Brussels to water down your deal, Theresa May. You can't water down water. It's the weakest orange squash that she's proposed. It's the softest of soft Brexit that she's proposed here, which is no wonder why she's got a backlash. She went on the Andrew Marr show this morning and said multiple things, one of which was the idea that Donald Trump had and the advice that Donald Trump gave her over Brexit, and her negotiation strategy was not to negotiate. He said that she should sue the EU. Now, I don't know whether you can sue the EU. I think that that's pie in the sky, to be quite honest, although I'm not a lawyer, so how would I know? But it doesn't surprise me that that would be his first port of call, considering this is the man that sued Bill Maher for $5 million because Bill Maher said he was the son of an orangutan. So yeah, suing would be the first one. And then literally just 20 minutes ago, I saw this. Robert Courts MP, I've decided to take very difficult decision to resign as position as PPS, which is in his personal parliamentary private secretary, to express discontent with Chequers in votes tomorrow. I had to think who I wanted to see in the mirror for the rest of my life. It's probably best you not be a Tory then, if that's the case. I cannot tell the people of W. Oxon that I support the proposals in their current form. They are rats abandoning a sinking ship right now. The Tories are. They know that she's done for, and they're all going. I find it interesting that Boris Johnson was one of the first ones to resign, knowing his political ambitions. Resignation would usually mean he's going to mount a leadership challenge. A lot of people believe that. It wouldn't be the first time he's led a leadership challenge, although the last time it didn't come to fruition because he got stabbed in the back by Gove. It's just a matter of time now, and what is beautiful about this is Brexit has hit them really hard, the Tories. This proposal, it's hit them massively hard. This is from The Independent. Labour open up sizable poll lead over Tories after May publishes Brexit plan at Chequers. Conservative support fails while UKIP revives. Amid Brexit turmoil, there's lots of reports of this. Here's Steve Baker. It looks like Chequers means Corbyn. Labour 40%. Conservatives, they lost 15% of their support literally overnight. 15% of their support jumped ship and went to UKIP overnight. That is damaging. That is damning and damaging. So this all looks good at the moment for Corbyn. That Independent article said that if those, or rather that tweet, wasn't it? Yeah, that tweet. The thread continues a full list of 50 Conservative MPs who would lose their seats to Labour if tonight's opinion poll was reflected in the general election. So you can imagine if they lost, the Tories lost 50 seats and the Labour gained 50 seats, boom, there you go. That's the way it stands, or that's the way it stood after the election. I don't know whether that's changed by 1 or 2 seats now. I suspect it probably has. But you can see there that's very close to a Labour majority. They wouldn't need a majority because the SNP or the Liberal Democrats would definitely be joining them in a coalition and a majority government if that was the case. So this is all good. And so you can certainly see why the Tory MPs desperately want her to hang on, because if she goes, it's going to be a real slog for them to get into government, no matter who actually takes her position as leader. While this is all going on and the Tories are all in an absolute meltdown, there was this. Corbyn addressing anti-Trump protesters in Trafalgar Square. There was 250,000 people there estimated. 250,000, and that was just at Trafalgar Square on, I think it was Friday. And then there was pictures of Trump being heckled at his Turnberry golf course over the weekend, this morning actually as well. That visit, he wasn't well liked, he wasn't well received, and neither should he be. We don't tolerate fascism in the UK, and you shouldn't tolerate it in the US either. So it's all looking great for Jeremy Corbyn, and it's looking really, really, really bad for Theresa May. She must be on her last legs by now. How she has hung on for this long. She just won't go away. It's like she's the physical embodiment of herpes. Just can't get rid of her. But I do think now the countdown is getting very, very close. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next week she goes, to be quite honest. Although she could have hung on until August, when they have this vote in the House of Commons on the plan. We shall see. We shall wait and see. But I'm really optimistic that we're going to have a new election. And my prediction is going to come true, and we're going to have another election in the autumn. I certainly hope so, because we just cannot let these Tories just continue to wreak havoc, not just on our country but other countries around the world. You know, Venezuela and the Middle East, especially Syria. And then you've got their support of Israel, whereas Jeremy Corbyn supports the BDS movement. Notice here I mention Jeremy Corbyn, not Labour. I want to point this out because many people have said I support Labour. I've seen it said many times. I don't support Labour. I am not a Labour supporter. The last election was the first time I'd ever voted in voted Labour in my life. I'd never voted Conservative either, by the way. I'd actually only ever voted once before that. I think Jeremy Corbyn's a decent man. That's why I want him to be our Prime Minister. I think in my lifetime, and I know other people will agree with me here, who are older and younger, I don't think we've had a leader in my lifetime in the UK that I could say, honestly, hand on heart, I think they're a thoroughly decent person. With Jeremy Corbyn, I think that he is. If you look back at his record over the last 3 or 4 decades in politics, he's been on the right side of history, and he cares, and he's always, even when it's been unpopular decisions at the time, he's still stuck with what he believed in, and it shows real integrity. That's why I like him. I'm not a Labour supporter, especially considering that half the party is still Blairites, who, it came out, I saw yesterday, that, well, the 2017 election, they were trying to, the Blairites in his party were trying to undermine him with Facebook ads and locking him out of headquarters, that sort of thing. It wasn't great on their behalf to do, and they need to get rid of them before I even consider becoming a Labour supporter. But I do like Jeremy Corbyn. That's why I want him to be our Prime Minister. So I do think he'll do a better job of helping the poor and middle class, not just in the UK but around the world. It's looking hopeful at the moment, and it certainly looks like, you know, the last days of Theresa May's reign as the weak and wobbly leader of the UK. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed. If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe, so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.